Welcome everybody. If you are joining us in the business school for the first time, a massive welcome to you. If you're returning, welcome back. It is incredible to see you again and to continue the journey of learning. My name is Dr. Steve Gibbs, and I've taken over this last week the program lead for your suite of courses. And it's an incredible privilege to be working with you, supporting you on this crucial and precious stage of your life, and that is studying within a university. It's an incredible privilege, and so few of us get this opportunity to be able to spend time out to study and learn. But what an incredible and interesting period in our history. This season has brought around so much disruption, but it struck me it's people like us, managers, leaders, accountants, finance directors, HR directors, global international leaders, marketeers, and all those allied support services, not to forget administrators as well. Who look after policy and process. What an important time for us to engage with learning. And I hope, and I mean this, that we'll dive deeper this year into our reading. We'll dive deeper into the concepts and the ideas that I think this world needs. And I certainly feel that the challenge for us in organisational life is to make new discoveries. If there's one thing that I think our courses should inspire towards the end of that journey, you should come out of this experience increasingly curious, increasingly concerned to ask the right questions, and I would certainly say increasingly committed to specific goals for your life, for your education, ongoing education, for your organisation. So we go from a lot of concerns, don't we? We go from a lot of different concerns about the world. But at the end of this journey, I do believe we should be coming out with an increasing unconditional commitment to bring change to our communities. And I think that comes from our reading and the depth of our engagement, and that ability to question and inquire a little bit more keenly. As I say, dive a little bit deeper this year. The most important aspect, often in university courses, which are full of different aspects, is that decision to spend more time in the library, or certainly on that library database, and just add that little bit extra to your reading and your writing. The most powerful change force in the world is the written word. We know that some countries kill their poets. We know those countries take their poets seriously and are threatened by them because poets write things down and say things that change the world. We still read great texts, don't we, that are hundreds of years old. We throw away yesterday's newspaper, but we still read incredible writing from our respective countries from hundreds of years ago. That's the most powerful force. It leaks its meaning into the world. Your writing, informed by great reading, will have the most powerful effect, whether it's your blogging, whether it's your podcasting, whether it's a video cast like this. Your absorption of good material, good concepts, good ideas that comes out of you then into your writing, that leaving that mark in the world is one of the most important things you can do, because it remains there and it gets more powerful and it brings more change. So I make that emphasis, even for us who are in the organizational sphere, from leaders to HR directors. I'm appealing that this year we use this period of blended learning, where much of our time is at home or in our student digs, or potentially in the cafe online, use that time to make new discoveries, because at the end of this journey, I think for a lot of it is what we write down for our staff, for our colleagues, for our clients, customers. If we leave a good written word, a good phrase, a good message that has resonance, that grows in its power and gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So I think my message to you this year, if there's one thing I'm saying, let's make use of the resources in that library. I know my great colleagues in the library, Sally and her team, they do a tremendous job. They're passionate about discovering the little corner of interest that inspires you, that little bit of specialist reading that is good for you. And it's about discovering what is genuinely interesting for you. That's going to feed your leadership, your accounting skills. And I do believe that even if you're a numerate person, 0 and 1 is the most important symbol. I still believe engagement with text helps us understand the context around us. So that's my inspiration to you. I know study can be fatiguing, but goodness me, this is the best thing to invest in. We go down the gym, don't we? And we can see the effect on ourselves when we work out, but we don't see the effect always immediately when we exercise our brains and our minds with reading and writing. But you can see it in our character. You can see those people who are leaderful because they've put in the hours of discovery. So that is hopefully, just a little encouragement. I hope I don't sound like the parents, the carers who have brought you up and said this right from when you're small. But I can certainly say from experience that my practice, my years of being in business leadership were shaped more by my friends, the authors of books, more by writers who I think understood me better sometimes than my colleagues. You read a good book, you feel the writer knows you, speaking to you personally, and they sustain you through the dark nights of sometimes a Cumbrian January, which can get quite dark. But that warmth of an author who's speaking from the heart sometimes. A lot of business is not up here. It's not analytical. It's the gut. Do I buy that new business? Do I sell that product in my store and put that product in my store? It's often down here. And that heart-head relationship is where good writing comes from. So, wishing you a fantastic year. Encourage each other. Yes, reading and learning is good, but it's all about a relational journey. Business increasingly in the global world is a relational exercise. And as I've said, if you ask me why Donald Trump, an outsider from the political system, got into power, it's because he networked and networked and networked. He built a network. Build a network inside this university. Build it with those around you. Start with the people near you. Build that network and be open. Cross the room metaphorically. Keep safe distance if you cross the room physically. But be the person who gets up and crosses the room space and puts your hand out and makes that connection. Be the person. Do not wait for somebody else to do it. That will make the difference. Your reading and your willingness to be the person who crosses the room and engages somebody else. You will make the difference. And I ask you a question. My question to you as you go into this year is to think about where you've come from. Maybe we can tackle this question together in this term. Think about where you've come from, the village, the town, the city. Think about the family that you represent. think about the communities you're going back into at some point to be part of. Think about who those people are, the businesses, the civic leaders, the faith leaders, the schools. Think about that community. What are their aspirations? What do they aspire to? What is that community where you're going to go back to and live and work in time? What are their aspirations? What do they hope for their future in the years to come? What matters to them? And I'd like us to discuss, how do we, who have the privilege of a university education, how do we meet the aspirations, and particularly meet the aspirations and enable the organisations that are serving there to bring their investment in that community. So that's my question for this term at least, if not the year. What are the aspirations? What matters to those communities that is genuinely really important? And how do we meet those aspirations as the officers within organisations, as the people with the privilege of this unique experience of a university education? How do we meet those needs? And of course, we're part of those needs, aren't we? And it's a case of us meeting our own needs as well, because we're part of those communities. It's a two-way relationship. How do we invest in those communities and bring change and difference? And I think we start by seeing what those needs are. And then how do we, in that community, enable ourselves to be a sustainable contributor over time? So, again, just to add my incredible encouragements to you to lean into this year with confidence, courage, and to really, really support each other and make use of the academic team, ask them for time to talk about the ideas you're handling. We're here to have the conversation. I often view the classroom as a cafe space, because you're so free, aren't you, in cafes? And you come to the classroom and they feel so much like school. And I really want them increasingly to feel like cafe spaces where the big conversation about communities, about change, take place. So bring your coffee, bring your chocolate. Our grades go higher, don't we? Sometimes the more chocolate that we consume. And it's good that those bars get a little bit smaller as well. So really, really massive encouragements, and we look forward to spending quality time with you. And most of all, of course, have great fun. Enjoy yourselves. Make sure there's time out for you in this odd season of online learning. Make sure you have some time where you really, really do something you love and enjoy, and it makes you feel good. So get that balance right in this difficult season. We are wanting you to get through this as well as you can. Look after that your mental health. Take time to spend time with people, talking. Try not to get isolated this year, because you've got to look after yourself emotionally and mentally. Make sure you have time with other people and you talk to other people. You reach out to others, and don't be afraid to be honest. We are human at the end of the day, and during this season, take care physically, but don't be afraid to ask for support from student support if you feel low. It's no embarrassment to admit we go through tough points. So particularly take care of your emotional and mental well-being, and don't hesitate to reach out to the support services are there. We admire you and respect you when you do that, and when you speak up and say, I'm not in a good place. So difficult season, be self-managing, and look out for those around you. And as I say, dive deep into the learning this year. And I look forward to seeing you either online or on campus, and we can continue this conversation about communities. Thank you so much, and see you soon.